The Ukrainian president made public his plan for victory against Russia after traveling to Western capitals trying to garner support. The plan calls for Ukraine needing an unconditional invitation to join the NATO military alliance. The Ukrainian president also called for Ukraine's ability to defend itself being irreversibly strengthened by further arming Ukraine and strengthening its defense industry, including removing restrictions on weapon use and a continuation of Ukrainian military operations on Russian soil. Zelensky called for Ukraine signing an agreement with the US and EU and other allies that would allow for joint investments and use of Ukraine's natural resources. Zelensky also called for Ukraine becoming a base for Western, non-nuclear strategic weapons that will be sufficient to protect Ukraine from any military threat. Most of the proposals had little to do with winning the current war. Ukraine's membership in NATO, making Ukraine a base for NATO, and allowing NATO countries to develop Ukraine's natural resources will not affect the battleground situation this year or next. Most analysts have for long concluded that the current dynamics favor Russia. The proposals from Zelensky are exactly what Russia does not want Ukraine to become, and it was what angered Russia to the point that it decided to invade. It seems, therefore, that the Western alliance behind Ukraine wants the war to continue, despite the fact that it is killing hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian and Russians. This week, U.S. long-range, nuclear-capable B-2 stealth bombers launched airstrikes targeting underground bunkers used by Yemen's Houthi rebels. The strike marked the first time the U.S. used B-2 bombers in combat since 2017, when they were used in Libya. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said in a statement that the B-2 bombers targeted 5 hardened underground weapons storage locations in Houthi-controlled areas of Yemen. Austin also made clear that the strike was a message to Iran. This was a unique demonstration of the United States' ability to target facilities that our adversaries seek to keep out of reach, no matter how deeply buried underground, hardened, or fortified. Many have been shocked with Austin's statement and the fact that the U.S. used a heavy bomber in one of the poorest countries in the world. Many see it as overkill to use the most sophisticated airplane in its arsenal, costing $1 billion apiece. Austin's statement confirms it's now okay to bomb a poor and devastated country like Yemen just to threaten one's adversaries. High levels of indirect violence is now the new normal, where brute military force is becoming the preferred tool. Israeli officials confirmed that the Hamas leader, Yahya Sinwar, was killed in a combat operation outside Rafah in the Gaza Strip after stumbling upon him in a fighting position. Sinwar was appointed leader of Hamas in the Gaza Strip in 2017, not long after he was released from an Israeli jail as part of a prisoner exchange with the group. Sinwar was previously the leader of the Qassam Brigades, Hamas's military wing. He was elected full leader of the group after his predecessor was assassinated in July. Whilst Israel always said Sinwar was hiding in Hamas's extensive network of tunnels surrounded by Israeli hostages, the fact that Israeli forces found and killed him in a fighting position in Rafah suggests Sinwar was on the front lines. With Hamas in a long-term liberation struggle, the group's operations take into account the turnover of its leadership. This is why Sinwar's killing will likely only have a marginal impact on Hamas's capabilities, as most of its leadership remains intact. Whilst U.S. officials and others are calling the moment as an opportunity for a ceasefire and the return of hostages, the Israeli government is not interested in restarting hostage and ceasefire talks with Hamas, as they are currently in the middle of an ethnic cleansing plan in northern Gaza.